Hey guys, Nick from Kaha Fitness here. We're gonna get into the sacred muscle up today. We're gonna start with a bunch of little smaller steps to get you there, and we're gonna build you up. Practice these over the next couple of weeks, and I can guarantee you'll get a muscle up with me. So let's start out. First things first, we gotta make sure we have proper scapula retraction. So grabbing that bar nice and tight, being able to completely retract and depress my scapula down. So let's wrap out 15 or 20 of these guys to make sure we have proper control, staying nice and even on both sides. Part two, we've got to be able to make sure we can do at least 10 to 12 clean pull-ups. So that means we're going to pull that bar all the way up to my chest, having my scapula properly retracted. All right, next we got to be able to do a straight bar dip. So this is actually a much more difficult technique because it requires a lot of balance. So what we're gonna do is I recommend getting on a smaller bar, maybe on a Smith machine or something close to that we can actually just get ourselves up on and learn how to balance up at the top point first without letting ourselves sink down. So we're gonna push ourselves up and away, and as we drop in, we're gonna pike, trying to bring that bar to my chest, then up and away. And we're just gonna rep this straight bar dip out at least 10 times. Remembering to keep my center of gravity evenly distributed on the front side and back side of that bar so I can maintain my balance and not fall backwards. Biggest thing, we're gonna show you this from the side too, but that elbow always has to stay locked directly above the bar. If there's any angle backwards on this, you're always gonna fall back down. One of the biggest things people struggle with in the muscle up is getting their body weight forward enough over top of the bar to actually be able to press up out. All right guys, here's that straight bar dip again, but a little bit more of a side angle so you can see the angle of my elbow and my hand staying on top of that bar to maintain that balance. So as I jump up and keep postured, I know I'm a little out of sight, but you can see my elbow staying nice and vertical over that bar as I go through this range of motion. Anything here and you're gonna fall. It's just physics. All right guys, this is one of my next favorite lead ups to that muscle up. We're gonna get in a nice cable machine. This one here, we have a nice bar that can attach to both sides. And we're gonna go through the first initial part of the motion where we go a little bit past that pull up and pull that bar all the way to our sternum and getting my body weight over the bar. So with this, we don't even have to be body weight yet. I'm just using about 30 pounds each side, so maybe 60 pounds total to get this motion, to get my balance going first. So we'll grab equidistant, a little wider than shoulder width. We're gonna drop down on my knees, and we're gonna do just like that pull-up. We're not gonna pull in my chest, we're gonna pull down and get my body to go over that bar until that bar is pretty much at my chest. So I can be like resting at this point. And then from there, we can dip out of that to that top point. As we bring that back up, we're gonna bring it back to my chest, keep it tight to maintain control, and then we're gonna relax it back out to that full extension. So scaps retract, lats pull, triceps start to push as I drive myself up over that bar, just like I'm pulling myself outside of a pool. We can go through that motion a bunch of times. Again, trying to get my elbow directly over that bar of my sternum, and then pressing out from there, maintaining that alignment as I come back up through, dropping and extending back out. So the next progression we're going to do is from a squat or lunge jumping up over the bar instead of using a band or a kip yet. We'll get to those next. So we don't have any bars in my gym, unfortunately, so I'm going to steel squat rack. Best thing to do, good idea, weight up the squat rack so this bar doesn't come pulling off if you do any. So now that I've got my bar all weighted up so I make sure it's not gonna be popping off this rack with me, I'm gonna drop down into my full squat position. And then from here, we're gonna use that little bit of a jump to get up and over, getting that sternum back to the bar and dipping out from that point. Steps away from mastering that muscle up. So we're gonna move on to using a couple of my bands here. We're gonna use the Fire Band from Kaha Fitness. So we're gonna take this guy, simply loop it up over the bar, and we're gonna try to mimic the exact same motions we did over on the Smith machine and on the cable machine to try to mimic that same motion, getting that balance and getting ourselves up over the bar. So let's bring this guy over here, loop it up, and we're ready. ready. So one of the biggest things I want to demonstrate initially here is that your center of gravity has to be equal on both sides of this vertical line, which is the bar. Your elbow has to be stacked over this and your upper body has to be pushed farther over on this side of the bar. If it's not, and if that elbow's angled back a little bit, you're always gonna fall back down. So let's try to get that momentum up and over, balanced on front and back side of that bar so we have none of that rotational torque pulling us in one direction so we don't have to fight it. So a lot of people get in this the wrong way. Let's put our hands in, pull that band close to me, push it down, create a little loop, and step on it, and we'll slip and slide out. That's the easiest way to get in. People get in, fall all the time. So from there, we're gonna simply jump up. And one of the biggest new things we have to learn from this step is adding a tiny, tiny swing. We don't need very much, and you shouldn't have very much at all, maybe 15 degrees or so below that bar. So first things first, just like before, we're gonna engage that scapula, have my head looking up. We're gonna start with that pull up and then engage those triceps and pull myself up over the bar, just like I'm getting out of a pool. Resting my sternum on that bar, making sure my elbows are up over top, and then dipping up out of that. Lowering myself down slow, controlling that negative, and hitting it again. When you start, doing one at a time is perfectly fine. Build your way up. These are all progressions. So if you need to stay at one step for a little while longer, stay at that step. So biggest thing that I want you guys to repeat to yourself is a muscle up is not a pull up. A lot of people get stuck trying to do the same motion as a pull up, and every time they pull that bar to their chest, they don't have enough of their body weight on the top front side of that bar to actually maintain balance and get our elbows up over. So if you keep on doing a pull-up and you're not engaging your lats and your triceps nearly enough to actually push your way through, then you're never gonna get over. Let's get a couple of reps on this band. So again, hands on the inside, reaching forward, pushing down, looping my foot. 1 or 2 feet is fine, doesn't matter, whatever you guys choose. Get that little tiny bit of a swing, lats engage, and we're gonna do that same up, over, lock out. As soon as we hit the bottom, we can go again, pop. I personally like to look up at the bar. Helps me to keep my lats engaged in my chest, nice and proud. And so right now we're doing it with the red band, the Kaha fire band, and then as we get stronger and stronger, we can slowly work our way down. Forgive me, my live mic cut out during this segment. I was speaking of progressing our way from our fire band to our volt band to our Jade band here. And if we're feeling strong and confident enough in our negative to let go of our feet on the band and lower ourselves down very, very slowly with proper form, because we're gonna build a lot more strength in that negative range of motion of that exercise than the positive alone. We're 2 more steps away from mastering that muscle up. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get up on the bar, match that same swing again, and we're gonna learn the knee drive up into my chest, all the way to my triceps possibly. So right now we're not gonna do any pull, we're not gonna do any push. We're gonna keep my arms completely straight and just a little bit of a lat pull down is pretty much all we're gonna do. So we're gonna jump up on that bar, have that tiny, tiny swing. On the way back, we're gonna tuck my knees up into my chest, drawing that body weight up. Getting those knees up, trying to get that momentum to start to go up. So eventually we're gonna pull into that and drive our weight up and over. One more step, last one. So we're gonna try to transfer that same kipping motion to drive into my half pull-up, driving myself up over that bar. And the shape that I want you guys to trace with your body is a candy cane. So we're gonna start out underneath that bar. We're gonna drive ourselves up and candy cane switch over top of that bar to create that balance. So with that same movement as we go, that same swing, that knee drive, and then dropping my sternum up over that bar to be able to dip out of it. Trace it down, same knee, drive, up. Once we rep out a bunch of those guys, we're gonna start getting, guys, you made it. The last and final step is to clean up those legs. So instead of having that big knee drive coming up, we're gonna try to squeeze my quads, squeeze my calves, point my toes, get nice and pretty, and try to keep my body as neutral as possible without using that momentum to drive me up. So it truly is a muscle up. So let's hit it. Guys, so there you have it. That is our full muscle up from the basic scapular retraction to the pull-ups, to the dips, to the transitions between them, to the knee kip-ups, to the band usage, and all the way up to getting that full muscle up. So let me know how you guys do. Leave me some questions. Let me know if you have anything that you want to answer. And yeah, give it a try. Tag us, do it. Tell us your progressions, and please follow us. Cheers.